What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of our Trendsetters interview series. Today we have a very special guest, David Meltzer. David, tell us why you're here today and give us a little bit more information about you for those that might not know.
Sure. Well, I'm here today. We put on our first Amp Up event, which is an inspiring event where we take thought leaders, bring them all together, and try to inspire a community to consistently, every day, persistently, without quit, enjoy the pursuit of their potential. Ages range from anywhere from 14-year-olds that may want to do better in school or at sports to 80-year-olds that played in Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we have a really eclectic group of people. A little bit about myself. I grew up wanting to be rich, and 6 kids, single mom, and through a variety of things ended up in technology after law school and made a ton of money. I lived my dream, but then lost it all. And to me, losing everything was the best day of my life. And I know it took me about a decade to really believe that, but after understanding the journey that I've been on, it probably saved my life. Not having that lesson in my life would have been a tragedy, which is ironic. But through being the CEO of Samsung's first phone division, going bankrupt, becoming CEO of Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment, most notable sports agency in the world. Most people know Lee from the movie Jerry Maguire. You guys are probably too young, but Tom Cruise's movie.
Show me the money.
So of you the money. And then eight years ago, Warren Moon and I, who played here in Kansas City, which is why he came as well, we spun off a marketing agency specifically to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's the right motto we have. So, Ferg, what are some specifics?
So first of all, when I heard that you were going to be in Kansas City, I was super excited to get the opportunity to potentially meet you.
Thank you.
And I actually, I commented on your Instagram. I said, Jake, you got to follow this guy. I mean, he's great. He's a big inspiration of mine. And then I open up Instagram later and I see David Meltzer says, oh, hey, thanks for following me. How can I help? And I was like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, he just asked me, how can he help? This is great. I started going through comments and I saw, oh, he's asking everyone how he can help.
Yeah,
Now, I was bummed at first, but then I realized that is so cool that he's asking anyone and everyone how he can help. So my question is, when did you decide that you need to start asking everyone how you can help? Why did you do that? And how has that helped you as both a business person as well as just a person in general?
So when I decided, how I was going to make my comeback, I looked at how I did things in the past, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and I realized that being of service was truly the blessing in life, and that if I trusted the universe, if I surrendered to it and knew that I could just give value to people, that everything that I wanted, all I had to do was ask for it. And the more that I did for other people, the bigger the void for the universe to fill was, which means I could even ask for more. And so 2 lessons I learned was, 1, just worry about being of service and providing value, and then 2, ask big for what you want, especially if it's motivated by what you want for others. And so I always say you don't recognize what you have until you've given it away. And so I look to others to see what I truly have and what we can provide to others. And that was truly the biggest quantum shift in my life, is the quantum shift of value. And so I wake up every morning, pray to God 10 people can be in front of me that I can help. And I do, cut and paste. How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, because the universe gives me thousands of people to help every day.
That's why we're here.
And but they do, and it's funny. I spend hours a day helping people that I don't know, and it's a huge blessing. I save every message back saying, 2 months ago you gave me this advice, and now this has happened in my life, and this is, and it's just, I would sit there going, gosh, I'm so blessed. The first time I saved a life, it was like, okay, they always say if you can just save one life, you've lived a full life. No, the first time I did it, I was just drenched in tears. It's an everyday occurrence for me, so how else could I tell you I lived the most blessed existence?
Of course.
And that's why I continue to ask people, how can I be of service?
Cool. So I've heard a bunch of your speeches. Again, I'm a big fan of your work. Much like you when you were little, when I was little, I was like, I want to make money, I want to make a lot of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I did some nonprofit work for the Family Friends Suicide Awareness Foundation, and I did it all for free, and I felt so good about just helping them and not getting a cent from it. And I realized if I die at the end of my day with all the money in the world, but I'm sad, but if I have not a cent to my name and I'm happy, I think that is like what I would consider a fulfilled life and a productive life. it seems like you kind of have some of those same core values. And what would you say would be at the end of your life would be that like main emotion or whatever accomplishment would be your main thing?
You know, it's interesting because as I was younger, I was motivated by the wrong things. And unfortunately, I grew up and I wasn't too close to my real father. I grew up with a single mom. The most hurtful thing that my father did to me was forget my birthday. And even more hurtful, when I asked him about my birthday, he said, "Oh, I don't believe in birthdays." So his excuse was, like I said, it still hurts, right? Because his excuse was, "Oh, I don't believe in birthdays." And so to make a point to me at 10 years old, he decided he wouldn't do anything for my birthdays my whole life. So it was a huge problem for me.
Yeah.
And so when I was 30 years old, my dad gave me a jacket. And he had never given me a birthday. He never recognized my birthday. And he gave me this jacket, and it fit. I put it on. It was a jacket like this. And I was in tears. I'm thinking to myself, wow, my dad believes in birthdays. He's always, I was starting to figure things out, getting a little older. And I opened the jacket, and there was no pockets. He had torn, literally, see these pockets? He had torn them out. So now I'm thinking, this guy is sadistic. Like, he's trying to torture me, make things worse. So I'm like, Dad, why did you tear the things out of the jacket? He goes, I wanted to teach you a lesson. I was rolling my eyes, like, come on. Like, what lesson do I need to learn? He said, look, I may not have been there for you, but I want you to have a jacket for when you die. And I'm double rolling my eyes going, I grew up with the worst dad ever. Like, he's giving me my first birthday present is for my death day. And he goes, I said, what do you mean? He goes, because when you die, you're not taking anything with you. So it's going to hang in your closet. And the lesson you need to learn, I can see it, is you need to learn that what you have is what you give, right? You can't take anything with you. And I wanted to remind you every day. So I still have that jacket. Of course. I haven't died yet. It still fits me. But to your point, when it's all over to me, it's going to be with nothing. I want nothing but that jacket. I'm fine being buried in it because it's truly the beginning of my relationship with my father. But also, it's a reminder every day that, why are you so, like, I'm motivated to make a lot of money still today. Actually, more money because of what I do with it. Not because I want a Ferrari, a Porsche, a big house. I'm even not even concerned what I can do for my own children as much. It's, what can I do? Have you ever fed someone that hasn't eaten? Have you changed someone's life because you have the ability to make a lot of money? Can you do that? And I think more than ever, people are motivated by that. They listen to the things that I do, and there's not many people that are, I think, authentic or real enough to say, look, I'm human. I have these screwed up parents, this screwed up like everybody else, but if you can just believe in doing good, you can still ask for what you want, and you'll learn that I really don't want anything, but I want a lot of things so I can help more people.
Yeah.
And that's the cycle of my life.
Yeah. And that's sort of a generational change that we'd like to bring on, as the younger generation tends to be more motivated by helping rather than money. And so finding that combination of being able to help people while still making a living is very important. And so one thing I wanted to ask you about was you were obviously on the tech scene relatively early, right?
Yeah, really early.
Yeah. And so,
like dinosaur early, like green screen early, if that means anything to you.
Yeah. And so what were some of the things that you dealt with then as far as skepticism, people who would say, oh, the internet's not going to change the world? And what advice would you give to people like us or anyone nowadays that's looking ahead towards AI, AR, VR, the voice apps? What would you say about that?
Yeah, one word, ubiquity. One of the visions that I had in understanding of technology was that we were just a little bit away from a ubiquitous society, an ability to access all information. Right? We're all connected. We're all one. I know you guys saw The Illusionist. He did this exercise of being connected yesterday that was extraordinary. But I think what made me different 20 years ago is that, I had the world's first smartphone. It was so smart, they called it a convergence device. It was called the PC-E phone. We converged a PC, a Windows CE PC, into a phone, cleverly named PC phone. But I can tell you, when I would talk about ubiquity, saying, someday, we had a Bluetooth stylus, it looked like a Star Trek thing. I'd say, someday, you'll be able to talk real time with, full duplex speaking in real time on the internet, talking to people in China, and literally like this, right? And I said, and it'll probably be voice activated. I will tell you that when I told people that I was on Good Morning America in 1999 showing the device, we had won Best of Comdex. Comdex didn't last, but the smartphone did. But we were there, and even the producer's looking over, shaking his head, going, "This is bullshit. This like you'll never be able to do that." And so, as we talked about today, possibilities, probabilities, perspective. No matter what you call it, IR, AR, VR. It's all ubiquitous. It's just a matter of time until we can access information, from holdables, right, to wearables, to insertables, to replaceables.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I saw in 1999 that nobody else did. I said, look, we have handhelds. That was a big deal, right? What I call holdables. Because that term wasn't really, that's how old I am, but I call them holdables. It's handheld. But then all of a sudden everyone's always so excited. They got their Fitbits. Oh my gosh, we got a wearable. Now we're looking at insertables. And then eventually in my lifetime, mark my words, I know people look at me still when I tell them, look, replaceables. There's going to be a smart eye, right? You're going to want to replace your eye. And if you get old, you may want to replace your hip. And we already have hips. But I mean, talking about real DNA-generated replaceables. And if I was young, and the advice that I would give is that live by the possibility, probability, perspective rule, understand ubiquitous behavior, and understand the progression of technology, which has always went from holdables, I can quote and make that term, bring it back. I'm going retro. Dave Meltzer says holdables, to the wearable, to the insertable, to the replaceable. And that's where I would lie. Whatever you want to call it, the technology will allow that. You can imagine what there's killer VR out there.
Yeah.
As processing speeds increase, battery life increases, and you're able, imagine, not to wear a headset and actually live in a virtual world. If that was possible and there was no pain would you replace your eyes and see it, right?
Yeah.
What would that be like? And you can turn them on and off. Because remember, your eyes is just a lens. Things are coming through your eyes, not for your eyes. Just like your children come through you, not for you. So really take notice. And, I may not know all the best, and I never have, honestly. I may not know all the best coding and up on the greatest technologies, but I do know the business of technologies, and at a very high level, I know how to monetize technology. And that's where my money lies, in the picks and the axes from that progression.
Perfect.
Hopefully that helps. Do you believe it?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you believe it?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, just checking.
These guys
One person believes. I had a couple nods.
Hopefully I don't need like a robotic eye, but
Right.
it might be that
You
option.
my point is, we say hopefully you won't need it.
True, but
My point is you probably will want one. Right? It's just, we have a culture where when I say replaceable eye, everyone goes, oh. But imagine if you're in a world where it's no pain. Way back when, like when you had certain surgeries, it was like, oh my God, you're getting your, whatever tooth out.
Yeah.
And nobody would want to go. Today it's like no big deal. Like you're back in school.
Yeah.
Right? People, I've seen with knee and hip replacements.
Yeah.
They're like back playing golf in 10 days. So imagine if it's that easy for replaceables, why you're like, oh yeah, I want new eyes. Right? Even though your eyes are still 20/20, no, I want the eyes that can turn on and off and give me shade outside and
Zoom in.
Yeah, or exactly.
Yeah, they have technology now.
Same with your
amputees
ears. Yeah, there's certain things
that are connecting to like their brain functions. They can start to move these robotic arms.
I can change the divorce rate at least 50% with ears that would turn off.
Selective hearing.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful
True selective
thing.
hearing. It's like super duper hearing first, also you know what everyone else is saying about you. Then bam, turn it off when somebody's yelling at you.
Yeah, my parents already claimed that I have that.
Exactly. Well, you're a teenager, a little bit, so I get it.
Yeah, of course. So, with respect to, so Trendsetters Media is a technology-based marketing company, and we're always trying to look for different technologies that are really up and coming. With respect to the marketing industry, as well as like entertainment or sports, are there any things that you think are fads and things that you think are going to be the next internet?
Yeah. So number one, the easier question is, what do I think is the next internet? And to me, it's the stage theory. So as we get to so much information overload, that it's the qualification process of accessing information. How do we access the right information in the right database? And that's where blockchain comes in. You can already see that progression. But for me, the future is understanding that everything's a stage. And so if we can create a frequency, whether it's a product, service, message, whatever it is, if you can create a frequency and know how to amplify the frequency on the internet, and then perpetuate that, put it into its category, and let it be accessed by people of similar or less frequencies, and you can actually monetize that. So blockchain is a perfect example of understanding frequencies, communities, building those communities based off of the content or ideas that you have. Fads in the internet. So for me, anything that drops below an insertable or to me is not set. The one thing that will never, basically what I'm saying is, let me simplify. You always want to simple. It's the universe loves simple. Basically, all fads include this. Every way that you access information or content today. Remember, everything's data. And then two, every medium, everything you see it on. So that phone's a trend in my mind because it competes against itself. The iPhone 11 is already competing against its own self. Okay? So right now, every trend or fad is in access and mediums. The one thing that's not a fad is the frequency, which is the ideas. So, for example, one of my favorite ideas ever created is Mickey Mouse. You guys know who that is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, when I saw Mickey Mouse, he was black and white and he was whistling. And every one of my friends watched the Mickey Mouse Club. Every one of my friends. Today, on YouTube, when I took my 8-year-old 2 years ago when he was 6 and liked the Mickey Mouse Club, and I took him onto YouTube to entertain him, I noticed there was 470 million views on that same mouse. So one thing that's here to stay is great ideas. Great ideas with great frequency. The faster the frequency, the longer it'll last. And think to yourself, how many, what you guys look at, retro things. There's nothing new. So concentrate on that great idea in a direct path to revenue. Understand that the access and the mediums are all trending. Some of them have a longer shelf life than others, but I do not invest in the access or the mediums. I spent a career on that smartphone, and it was a big mistake. Because there was always, I didn't know not only how I was going to compete with myself, but how many new competitors there were. So I started learning about how do I create great ideas and monetize them, and then I can just utilize other people's access and other people's mediums. And you can see that today, how I do that for my own personal brand, as well as the companies we work for.
And so two sort of coin phrases that I'm sure you're familiar with. One being trust the process by our KU guy, Joel Embiid, and the 76ers. And then the second being fail fast. What advice would you give towards these guys around here and that work with our media company that, one, have to deal with me on a day-to-day basis, which I honor you guys for that, and number two, that are one, or not going back to one, but that are two, trying to make a name for themselves, trying to build a sustainable business, and doing so while managing the typical our age shenanigans of the college, the social aspect. What would you say? What advice would you give them? 3
pieces of advice. Number 1, be a student of your calendar. And when I tell you be a student of your calendar, you raise the awareness of what you're doing is really being a student of your calendar. It's not looking at your calendar every day. It's studying it. Understanding who am I going to meet in person, what opportunities do I want to meet in person, who am I going to communicate with via email, who would I like to communicate with, who am I going to utilize my phone and text with, who would I like to, and what social media, what am I going to ask or attract on each 4 of those realms. The only way that you can raise your awareness is by being a student of, meaning focus attention to every single thing that you're doing and put the right intention onto the attention. That's number 1, be a student of your calendar. 2, do it now. I wish somebody would have told me how much time I would have saved and how much statistical success I could have had if somebody would have just said, look, anything you have to do, ask yourself a simple question. Can I do it now? And if you can, do it now. The minute you don't do something immediately, it will take you a minimum of twice as much time. And exponentially, you'll be less successful at it. I actually have taken it a step farther. I ask myself to do it now, and if I can't do it now, I have a do it now folder that allows me, when I have time to deal with things that I couldn't do now, to go through, prioritize, not only perpetuate it or capture it so I don't forget it. I'm sure you guys have never forgot anything that your parents have told you to do now. Yeah, and 2, be able to prioritize it so I'm more efficient, effective, and statistically successful. So be a student in your calendar, do it now. And the third thing is a wise piece of advice that Lee Steinberg gave me. And I was one of the younger executives, the youngest CEO that he ever had, and he told me, be kind to my future self. And at a young age, if I could give you advice, whether it's internally in your family, at your business, or in the community, the more you can think about being kind to your future self, the more good deeds that you can do. The universe doesn't know size, so the more people you smile at, the more people you connect emotionally with, the more people you open the door for, the more people you give everything that you have to, whether it's of your energy, your time, your money, whatever it is, the more people that you can inspire and affect, the greater your life will be. And every time is truly, to me, that you're of service in this way, you're making an investment in your future, which includes, my girls are going to hate this, but show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Yeah. That's also part of being kind to your future self. So be a student in your calendar, do it now, and be kind to your future self are the best 3 pieces of advice.
And so you talked about how people will send you messages and that I've connected with you a few months ago.
At David Meltzer, feel free to connect.
Yeah, exactly.
Please do.
So
Please do.
Let's do this. Let's craft up a message that we're going to send David in 3 months with a list of goals that we're going to accomplish, speaking in the past tense, and let's put on our calendar, like he mentioned, to make sure to send that to him. And we're going to make those our goals. So
that's awesome.
Great.
Let me know how I can help you guys.
All right. Well, David, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and the team at Trendsetter Media. You've really been a big influence on my life, and as well as many others, obviously. And so I'm really happy to keep doing our job, do it now, do it right, and get the job done.
I'm sure you guys will. I'm really proud of you. And
Thank you very
for
much.
taking the time to be with me.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
It's going to be hard to follow this one up, but we'll try to do it.
It's our best one yet.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Right on. Thank you.